Hey guys, welcome back to Don't Forget the Art. I am so excited that you are here, and I'm excited to celebrate our next artist, our next birthday. We're celebrating a couple days late, but hopefully nobody minds. We're celebrating Leonardo da Vinci, who was born on April 15th, 1452. He died May 2nd of 1519, so 67 years old in the Renaissance period. I'm thinking is pretty good. He was a Renaissance artist. He was a painter and a sculptor, but really he did a whole lot more than that. He was an engineer, an architect. He even helped militaries develop different weapons, which was pretty cool. His most famous works are some of the most recognizable from the Renaissance period, like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Believe it or not, even though we think of him as this amazing artist, there's only about 20 paintings that are surviving that can be attributed or credited to him, and many of those are actually unfinished. He kind of had this reputation for not finishing some of his works.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Biggest thing that he could probably be thought of, as a scientist and things like that, he was definitely a thinker. And he kept sketchbooks. That's right. He had about 50 different notebooks. Some was somewhere between 20,000 to 28,000 pages. I've even heard like 13,000, and some of those aren't even, around anymore. So who knows how many pages he actually created? Somewhere between 13,000, 28,000. We do have some of them remaining, but he used every square inch of the papers in his notebook where he sketched and he wrote poetry and he thought, and he did just about everything in his sketchbook notebooks. And for him, it also became a journal. So my question for you is, do you have a sketchbook? So I'm going to give you some of the top 10 reasons why I think you should have a sketchbook, and some other tips and tricks as to, what you can do with your sketchbook. So I have a few different sketchbooks here. I'm kind of known for keeping them. This one is the one that I was using for one of my Cattober challenges that I was doing separately. And it is nearly finished. I literally only have a couple pages left. So that is going to be my challenge over this next week, is to finish this. And I am going to create a piece in here while talking to you a little bit more about sketchbooks. So sketchbooks can actually be one of the best tools that an artist has in their toolbox. Why would you want to keep a sketchbook? Well, number one, it can improve your skills. And the reality is practice makes progress. I know that everybody will say practice makes perfect, but one of the things that I've been trying to remind myself and trying to remind you is there really is no such thing as perfect. So instead of practice makes perfect, remind yourself that practice makes progress. You're not going to move forward. You're not going to improve your art skills if you don't practice. And then one of the best ways to practice is in a sketchbook. Number two, it gives you a space where you can try new mediums or materials. So is there a new medium that you've been wanting to try? Maybe you use graphite pencils and you've been thinking about using colored pencils. Maybe you want to try inks or ballpoint pens, or the list goes on and on. What is it that you'd like to try? Maybe you're scared of using a canvas or a piece of really, really expensive paper or something like that. Best place to try it out is in a sketchbook. That way you can get a feel for the medium in a really safe space in order to do that. Number 3, keeping keeping a sketchbook could actually become a journal, a visual journal, a journal of what's going on in your life at that point in time. What does life look like for you? What have you been doing? You can keep it with you any place and, take it out and sketch some of your surroundings, whether you're in a park, maybe a bus, or a subway, or, on the beach on vacation. Who knows? Number 4, it can help you to develop project ideas. So over the past, couple years that we've been doing this, you've heard me talk about sometimes when I'm doing a piece that I've actually planned it out in my sketchbook. And sometimes you guys actually get to see it. Sometimes it's off to the side. But that's a great place for me to kind of get an idea, a feel for what it is that I'd like to do and plan it out ahead of time to make sure that it's going to work. Now, sometimes I don't do it and I really should have, and sometimes I regret it when I don't because maybe my piece didn't turn out as well as it could have if I would have use that journal to kind of sketch it out, play around, do some of those things first. Even artists need to practice, and sometimes when we just go in with gusto, it doesn't always work out that well, especially if we don't have a reference photo. So using your sketchbook, you can create a reference photo for yourself so that when you go to your final piece, it's going to wind up turning out better. Number 5, it creates a safe space to create. So safe space seems to be this keyword that we've heard so much about lately. And I know there's different opinions about it, but really as artists, we really do need a safe space to create, okay? Everything that I create doesn't need to go out on Instagram and Facebook. That's just the reality. Some of the stuff is done for me and done for me personally. And so nobody looks at my sketchbook, just like a journal. Nobody would look at it unless I invited them into it. And that's what a sketchbook can provide for you, a safe space to create. Nobody needs to see that. It's just for you. It is screen-free time. So how much are we hearing lately from doctors and other people that we need to stay off our phones, stay off of the TV, and have screen-free time? For me, this is one of the things that I love about my sketchbook. Even if my reference photo is on my phone, I can still just use that. Nothing else. I can turn off all of the notifications and I can use that. Otherwise, it's a great excuse for me not to pick up my phone. If I'm out, especially with my kids, or if we're out maybe enjoying a day out at the park or something like that, instead of going to my phone, I can pull out my sketchbook and just start sketching and drawing. It's a great way to escape. It's a great way to just give myself something to do. It's a wonderful way for me to just kind of get into my own thoughts. When I start drawing, when I start sketching, when I start arting, I kind of get into a zone and everything else goes away. That's one of the things that my sketchbook provides for me. It keeps me in the present moment. So again, like I was just saying, that, when I art, it really helps me to get into the now, to the present moment. Everything else goes away. All my worries, all my thoughts, everything else. I just get super absorbed in that moment. I find a zone. It's almost like a Zen-like state. I don't know how else to explain it. Everything else goes away. Time doesn't seem to exist. I can be, drawing for what I feel like is a couple minutes, look at my clock, and a couple hours have passed by. It's crazy, but it's a wonderful time for me to just spend with myself, with my thoughts. Everything just seems to fall into place when I'm in that space. It also can keep me in the present moment, like if I'm out sketching from the visuals that are around me, because now I'm super focused on that flower that I'm drawing, or the park, or the landscape, or whatever it is that I am sketching or drawing at that moment. It can create memories and mementos. There are plenty of people who actually buy journals sketchbooks to create a travel journal for themselves. It could be a memento of what's going on in your life at the time. Again, it can become more than just a sketchbook. Like Leonardo Da Vinci, your sketchbook could also become your journal, where you have a free space to draw if you want to, write if you want to, journal if you want to, write poems, write poetry, write short stories, write about what happened during your day. You can draw your bedroom, your whole house, your favorite shoes, your favorite outfit, whatever it is that you like, your friends, your family. It's a wonderful space to just create, the now like a journal. And it's a little bit different. You can use it as a scrapbook. So there are lots of people who again combine that. So if it's a vacation that they're on, maybe they wanted to save tickets from an exhibit that they went to or things like that. I don't even know. Do people do tickets anymore? Never mind. But if there's something that you wanted to save from your vacation, you can use it there. Some people, because maybe they have small spaces or they're not really into knickknacks, they've actually told me that they keep sketchbook journals of their vacations, and that for them is their souvenir from the trip. And anytime they open that back up, they get to relive everything from that vacation. And to them, it means so much more because they remember everything about that space. And they probably remember it more than just taking a photo because they actually studied that space where they were, sketching or drawing, whether it was an Airbnb or a hotel room or the place that they visited. So, think about that maybe for your next vacation. You might want to do something like that. It can create a space for future inspiration. I can tell you what, there is something about going back over my past sketchbooks, or even in my own sketchbook, going back over my past sketches. I can see progress from my pieces as I am creating them. So the piece that I'm drawing for you right now is in the Cattober, part of the Cattober book. It was in this book, my Cattober challenge that I did. It was a lot of fun. And I can tell you what, over the course of that month that I created 31 different cats, I actually improved my drawing skills. I could really see it. It was really fun and really cool. So you can definitely create a space for yourself, even if nothing else, if it's that you just want to see the progress that you've made. But, maybe another time where you're looking for some ideas, go back and look at some of your old sketchbooks, and it might help to give you ideas for a piece. It also gives you a reason to do something that you love and to spend time with you. Like I said, when I draw, that is my time, my space. Even if my kids are around me, sometimes I'm doing it while they're doing their schoolwork at the kitchen table and I pull out a sketchbook and start working. I'm still there with them and I'm working, they're working, so that kind of makes everybody feel better. But it is my time. It's time that I'm getting to do and spend on something that I really enjoy doing. So tips for your journal. Number one, you just need to get one. You need to get one. And if you're scared to get one, get something really cheap. That's the best thing I can tell you. Or if you've gotten them in the past and you've gotten a really expensive one because it's really good paper, but you haven't used it, then go out to Walmart, Target, or Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and get the cheapest one that you can find. Why? Because then you're not going to be feeling guilty about using it, okay? You want to use it. Pick a size that's going to work for you. I prefer ones that I can throw into my purse, that I can take with me personally. I also have a bigger bag that I also like to carry bigger ones, depending upon what size I want. But some of my favorites are right there in my purse. Pick a size that's going to work for you, one that you're actually going to use, and do it. Play with different supplies. Start small. Start with a pencil. You don't need to get a whole big elaborate, portfolio full of different colored pencils and pastels and watercolor and this and that one thing. Start small. What do you really enjoy working with? Chances are you're going to need a pencil and an eraser. Start there with graphite. Build up to some ink pens that you would like, and or some colored pencils. Start small though, it's okay, and build up. Number 3, make mistakes. Make lots of mistakes. This is the space for you to do it. I know it's really cool to watch some of the YouTubers that are out there. Don't get me wrong, I get hooked on them too, where they go through their sketchbook flip through, and every single page is perfect. But you know what? Chances are that's not their real sketchbook. Their real sketchbook where they make their mistakes is a separate one. This is one that they're doing so that they can make a future video out of it. And they make sure that those pieces are, as pristine as possible before they do that big reveal. I promise you. Make mistakes in your sketchbook. If you want to have 2, go for it. Have 2. Have one that you make mistakes in and one that you can have really cool that you show all your friends and do a really cool video flip through of it. The biggest thing is that you're using it. And when you're using it, you're going to make mistakes. That's just what happens. So you can use it for a journal, for everything, anything, real and imaginary. Use the sketchbook for anything that you want. It doesn't have to be just one piece. I know I started journals thinking that too. Oh, this is going to be my whatever that is, journal. And that's all I'm going to put in here. You know what? Don't do that. Use it for whatever you want. It doesn't have to be cohesive. It doesn't have to tell a story. It has to tell your story. And your story is going to change from day to day, and that's okay. One thing I can tell you that's helped me in order to get into my sketchbook and do things every day. Now, I haven't been great about it lately in my sketchbook per se, but I can say that by getting back into my sketchbook and doing daily things, it has gotten me back in the habit of doing art every day. If you need that habit, then I would highly suggest that you use sketchbook challenges or prompts. You can find them, Google them or whatever, find them out there, pick the month. Every day they'll have a different prompt or challenge for you to draw something, and it'll really help you to create some kind of, awesome piece every single day. Some are going to be a little bit more awesome than others. Some you're going to be interested in sketching or drawing more than others. But the point is to do it and to get into it and to find the reason to do it. And that's all that really matters. Try different sketchbooks. Once you get your cheapo and you get through that, then go out and try larger ones, smaller ones. Get different brands, more expensive ones or cheaper ones. Get different types of paper, spiral bound, or one that's a book style that opens up flat so you can create larger drawings or things like that. You can use Bristol paper or watercolor paper or anything and everything in between. The point is to get in and use that sketchbook. Help to create it as something of your own. Help to create some awesome pieces and a really great space for you to explore your creativity. And here, guys, is my final project. I haven't signed this one. I really like him. Now, I just did a beachy girl not too long ago, and I don't know why I drew the beachy cat. Like I said, this was my kind of Cattober challenge book, and so I never did a beach cat here, and so I thought it would be cute to create a beach cat. This one is almost finished, and I think I'm going to use these last few pages to do some more Cattober type pictures and finish this up. And maybe once I'm done, maybe I'll do a little YouTube final sketchbook reveal. Some pages better than others, but that's what it is. I hope you guys enjoy starting a sketchbook. I hope you enjoy getting into it and trying it out. For those who are really into art, I would highly recommend this. Get into your sketchbook every day, make some marks, have a lot of fun, and get messy and make some mistakes. Whichever it is that you try, whichever paper you try or whatever, I certainly hope that you enjoy yourselves. I hope that you share your pictures. If you do, you can share it over on our Facebook group. You can share it with social media using hashtag Don't Forget the Art. And I look forward to seeing you guys the next time. Happy arting, everyone.